you must be talking about that linchpin life. I'm so excited to be right here in Detroit to have a great conversation. Because years ago, people left the farmlands to come to Detroit. Why? Because the car world was growing. They wanted to invest in themselves. They walked away from the family farm, the family business, and said, you know what, I want to do this industrial thing. So guess where they came? They probably came to a place like this because the car was the new innovation. It was the new revolution. It was what people were investing in at that time. Which brings me to the point that I want to discuss today. I want to talk about you investing in yourself. It is super, super important. Let me say this. Many times when people find out about me, they go, hey, I heard you know how to pick stocks. Well, I want to be clear on something. That's not really our goal. Our goal is not to try to teach people how to pick the best stock in the world. No, we really care about just learning from investing. Think about this for a minute. When you finally invest in the stock market, you can learn something from that. You can understand the processes of what it really takes to be successful. And once you learn that, you can apply those same principles to investing in yourself. That's where it really matters. Believe it or not, 10 years is coming, right? It's going to be 10 years from now. It's going to be 20 years from now. How you feel in 10 years will depend on what you start doing right now. You need to invest in yourself. You know, the revolution of the car, when it first came out, that was a great revolution. Everybody who got involved in that, they did well, right? If they invested in themselves, maybe they started a company that made wheels. Maybe they started a company that washed cars, right? Right before the cars were really here, but it paid off for them, right? We're in a new revolution. Things are still changing. We're trying to change from gas cars to electric vehicles and so on and so forth, right? Things are changing. So the only way you can benefit is by investing in yourself. You're your best asset. You got to put time in you. All right, I'm going to give you 3 T's to follow on how to do it. All right, here's the first T. The first T is technique. You need to get a new technique. Things are always changing. So the only way you keep yourself valuable is learning something new. I know when we've mastered something, we get comfortable. We go, I'm good enough. I got it. But what happens to companies like that? What happens to things like that? Have you seen a payphone anywhere lately? When was the last time you saw a typewriter? When was the last time you went into Blockbusters to rent a movie? When was the last time you seen someone using a BlackBerry? You need to invest in yourself. Get a new technique. Find something new to do. Do it. Take a class, get a mentor, whatever you need to do to make sure you're learning something new. You're going to feel scared in the beginning because it's always rough trying to learn new things. But it's important. If you're investing in yourself, that's the first thing you're going to do. You're going to get a new technique. The next T is called time. This is the toughest one. The reason time is so tough is because some reason or another we get amnesia about this part.
I don't know about that picture. I don't know who I am.
Right? You can get the new technique. You can take the class, right? The class might last 8 weeks. The class might last 12 weeks. But it's going to still take time to learn how to execute what you've learned. The other thing is you've got to make time. All right, not just time in itself, right? Just because time has passed by because you took a class doesn't mean you've gotten better at anything. You've got to put in time. The time has to be active. Active time, meaning making time, making yourself a priority, putting you first. Many people don't do that. They let everything else come first, and then whatever time is left over, they'll try to give it to themselves, and then they fall asleep on it. And then they wonder, how come I'm not getting better since I've learned this new technique? So when it comes to time, you've got to be deliberate. You've got to be intentional. You've got to block off things. Sometimes you're gonna have to say no to some stuff because remember, you didn't get in this situation overnight that you don't like, and you're not gonna get out of it overnight. It's gonna take time. You're gonna have to be deliberate, okay? What do I mean by that? The same way when your stomach starts to growl, what do? You make time to go get something to eat. I don't care what you're doing. You will be late to something so you can eat. Well, think about this. When you're investing in yourself, right? Just think of this imaginary person who's saying, I need you to invest in me. And every time you don't make time, he's grumbling because he's hungry. He's saying, you haven't made time so you can grow, so you can get better at what you've learned. Take time, be deliberate. My last statement about time is this. You know how you see those big charts where when it comes to trading stocks, for example, and someone shows I made $125,000 in one day, and everybody gets excited about it and they rush in and want to learn that class? The part you forgot is that person probably has been trading or investing for at least 10 years or more. You don't make $100,000 in a day overnight. You got to put in time. It doesn't happen overnight. So when you see those big numbers, those large numbers, remember that person put in time to make that money in that one day. Don't get lost in that message. If you're not ready to put in the time, you're wasting your time. My last T, and it's very important. All these T's help you to invest in yourself. You've got to get a team. Yep. Why do you need a team? Because a team helps you protect not only the new technique that you've learned and the time you put into it, but it helps to protect you when you want to give up, right? We give up when we're by ourselves. No one has succeeded by themselves. And most successful people have a team. I'm standing in front of a bunch of geese. At least I hope they're geese. I could be wrong. But hey, it is what it is. But look how they are. That's a team right there. You see how they sticking together? There's protection in a team.
Couldn't find a team, huh?
They don't want me on their team. Hey, but that's what happens. They're protecting their team. It keeps you in safety. There's a Bible verse that says that, by the way. In the multitude of counsel, there is safety. You need a team. Well, I'm scared to talk to people. I don't know. Listen, let me tell you something. I don't know how bad you want to succeed. I don't know how important it is to you. But in 10 years from now, my question to you is, what do you really want? How bad do you want it? And why do you want it? Because if you start asking yourself those questions, you'll stop making excuses about, I don't talk to people, I don't like to be around people. You need a team. Listen, I could go through a bunch of things right now and a bunch of people who talk about success. They always refer to a team. People on the team. You don't make it alone. Work on that team. Get that team. Now, some teams, they'll come and want to help you just because they love your vision. Some teams you'll have to pay for. It doesn't matter how you got to get it, but you're going to need a team. All right? This is how you invest in yourself. Take notes. Look at the team behind me. That's a team. And speaking of team, we're in Detroit. Y'all remember a guy named Barry Sanders? One of the greatest running backs to ever do it? Oh my goodness. Just to see him run was amazing. But you know what he wasn't able to pull off? They never got that championship because he didn't have the right team around him, right? No matter how great you are, if you don't have a solid team around you, you'll do just like Barry Sanders did. You'll retire. See, a good team keeps you from retiring. See, if he had had this, Barry might have got a championship. So as I close on the point I'm trying to make, Everyone comes to me always talking about stocks and picking stocks. That's not what we're about. I want to be clear on what the Linchpin Bunch Inc. is about. We're about helping people get off that hamster wheel, right? When you get on that hamster wheel, you think you're actually going somewhere. The only time you get off that hamster wheel is to eat and sleep and play. But you haven't moved anywhere. You're still in the same spot you were. And you don't want to be in that spot 10 years from now. So we're just trying to remind you, invest in you, whatever that's required to be. Your health, your mental, your physical, your money, your family. Invest in you. All right, 10 years is coming, 20 years is coming. You don't want to regret that. And all we do is use the foundational principles of investing to remind people to invest in themselves. What's so cool about investing? Most people who come to me as students, they come to make money. But what they end up finding out is that when you start investing, you just start becoming a better person. Because the first thing you really need to invest in is you. And the stock market forces you to do that. People always come to me most of the time trying to ask me which stock to pick over and over. But you know what I tell them? The most important ticker symbol is YOU. Invest in you. Hey, thanks for listening. I hope this is a blessing to you, all right?